What's up, guys? My name is Max. This is my brother Johnny. We run ATNIP Performance together, and this video we're going to go in depth on the ATNIP method, the method that we use to get our clients the results that they've been craving. We're going to go in depth on what we expect of you, kind of how our program works.
Yeah, we'll talk through some of the results that we've gotten with some of our guys and how it's going to translate to you in the best way that you can kind of implement the structure and the systems that we've put together.
So get a notebook, take notes, make sure you have questions for when we talk, and enjoy. What's up, guys? My name is Max, and I run ATNIP Performance with Johnny, obviously. We're twins, right? We built this business together, and we're super excited to share it with you guys. So we're going to just hop right into it. In this breakdown, I'm going to show you exactly how we helped our client Kaleb go from guessing and spinning his wheels to gaining almost 30 pounds in 180 days. And it's quality weight, right? He got jacked. You'll see the pictures. He didn't get fat or anything like that. We showed him how to build real strength, real discipline, and real consistency, like I said, within 180 days using the ATNIP method. So, the ATNIP method is for busy working men who want real results using a structured coaching system. We do it without relying on motivation because that shit goes away, right? We don't use extreme diets.
They just don't work.
Yeah. Or living in the gym, because there's guys out there that go to the gym 6-7 days a week and don't see any results. You know, we do 3 to 5 days a week, depending on your goals, your schedule, that sort of stuff. So before we kind of explain how our system works, we're going to show you this first. This is our client, Kaleb. So this was on the left before he started working with us, on the right after, right?
Okay, so on the image on the left, this was right about when Kaleb started working with us. He'd been working out for years prior to this. As you can tell in the first picture, he already has a good amount of muscle, right? He would probably about, 5 or 6 years into the gym at this point. And he was about 135, 140 pounds in that first picture. And in that second picture, which is now, he's about 165 pounds. We did this within the span of 180 days. Okay. He doesn't live in the gym. Kaleb works 40 hours a week. He's a very, very busy guy. He works 6 days a week, 40 plus hours, manual labor. So it's not like he's just sitting at an office desk. So it's tough to build quality muscle when you're, one, burning that many calories in a day, and two, so short on time, right? But again, implementing our systems, what we do in the gym, how we have it structured as far as a programming perspective, as well as the nutrition, right? Again, like we said, we aren't going to write super restrictive meal plans. They don't work in our experience, right? The more restrictions that there are, the more ways you're going to try to find to break those restrictions. So we found that having a plan, like a kind of like a guidance system to get in what you should be eating, quality, nutritious foods, instead of just a bunch of crap to get the calories in, which is typically what we were doing. Picture on the left, that was before any of us, well, not any of us, but before we really understood the science behind nutrition and training and how they complement each other, and when we should be doing certain things and when we should be doing other things. But long story short, really the picture on the left and the picture on the right is just more guidance, right? Showing you, laying it all out on the table of what you should be doing.
Yeah. So you see down here at the bottom, the problem was that he was training regularly, like we said, but he had no clear direction. He was doing random workouts that he found online or that he's just writing down in his notes app. He ate inconsistently, pretty shitty, right? He's blue collar. He's up at 5 a.m., gas station burritos, freaking energy drinks, that sort of stuff. And so his effort, like he said, was not translating into results. So the solution was that we helped him define his goals. We installed structure. We gave him a plan, and he just stuck to it, right? We can only do so much, but you have to stick to the plan. You have to have consistency. That's how you get these results.
Yeah, and let me also add on to that by saying, we're not going to hold your hand through this, right? We're going to lay it all out there, and we're going to be there to rely on us if you need, but we are not here to provide motivation. We are here to provide you with a plan, right? again, picture on the left, Kaleb, even we've had this conversation before, right? You can go to the gym and work up a sweat and pretend like you're doing work, but working out is not at all the same as training, right? Training is intense. There is a purpose behind everything that you do. You're not just going to the gym and doing it because it's something that you know you should be doing, right?
Yep, we're not here to babysit you. So, who this program is for? This system is for you if you're a busy professional, you want to train consistency without sacrificing career, personal life, hanging out with your friends, you're young, we understand, we're 25, right? We understand how it is. The system is for guys who lift regularly, but just are not seeing the results that they think they are capable of. Or, if you start strong, New Year's just happened. It's January 18th right now. Everybody's motivated for the New Year's. And then, around this time, late January, early February, you start losing motivation, you fall off, and it just kind of builds a cycle.
Yeah, or ex-athletes, right? Like I said, I have experience with Division I athletes, training athletes at the highest level. I was involved with all aspects of their, their nutrition, their training, recovery, everything like that, very hands-on. So, again, I know what it takes to perform at the highest level, specifically if you're an athlete. And most athletes, and I don't take this to heart as a strength coach. They don't pay attention to what we're saying in the lifts, right? They just do it because they're supposed to most of the time. So this can also kind of teach you why you are doing what you're doing. It's not just here, do this, here you go. We go in depth with everything as well. And if you want real results, you're tired of the motivation-based fitness and influencer nonsense, but you want something real, right? This isn't hype. This isn't us spewing a bunch of bullshit. It's stuff that we've learned to work on ourselves, to work with, Division I athletes at the highest level, to work with the general population. Really, we have figured it out, what works and what does not work. And we can show you how to get there if you put forth the effort, right?
So we talked about who this is for. This is who our program is not for. Okay, we don't work with everybody. We're very selective on who we work with. We've had people in the past that sign up with us, work out for a week or a month even, see no results, and we never hear from them again. That's not the type of people we want to be around. That's not the type of people we want to coach, because we run a business and, we have standards, we have a reputation to uphold. Right? So this is not for you. If you're seeking motivation, you're just looking for motivation and no structure. If you're wanting shortcuts, how can I get abs in 2 weeks? How can I look better with my shirt off by the time spring break comes around? We don't give shortcuts. We don't do hacks. We don't do extreme diets, right? This is also not for you if you're refusing systems, if you're somebody who can't hold yourself accountable and you can't follow a proven system consistently. And lastly, this is not for you if you're somebody who is into doing their own thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, going off of that, again, going back to my background working with athletes, I had plenty, they weren't my athletes, but I saw other coaches' athletes going in there and doing their own workouts because of something they saw on Instagram or something that worked for them in the past. And, that's all good and fine. But if you want real results, you have to follow the program as it's written, right? Again, going off script a little bit, like doing a pull down instead of a pull up. Okay. That's fine. If you don't have access or you can't do pull ups, we're not going to make you do it. But, we're not here to give you something and you pay us and then you don't even do what we're saying. Like, that's a complete waste of both of our time and your money. And that's not what we're about. We're about results. We work with men who are ready to be held to a standard, right?
Yeah. And if you don't like that, then this program's probably not for you. So what nobody is going to tell you, this is the truth. First of all, this is me. This is my transformation using programs that my brother wrote for me and just consistency that I instilled in myself because I was tired of looking like a skinny guy, right?
Skinny little bitch.
So you can absolutely build strength. You can improve your physique and feel confident again without taking extreme measures, without working out 7 days a week, and without, cutting everything off and everyone off and only going to work and going to the gym and, not having fun on the weekends from time to time. And without relying on motivation, because like I said, that shit goes away.
Yeah. And also, you don't have to be perfect. We're not asking for perfection by any means, right? Having a standard and having discipline instilled in your life does not mean that you can't enjoy life by any means, right? We're disciplined. I'll still go out with my friends and have a beer every once in a while, like it's not the end of the world. We're not going to restrict you from living your life just so that you can get these results, because at the end of the day, these results don't really matter if you don't have a life. Right? We're not here to tell you bad, don't do this, don't do this. We're, again, not perfection. We're asking for improvement, right? Better than where you are at now and doing it most of the time. You want to be pretty good most of the time, not perfect. Because that perfection, striving for perfection is what causes burnout. That's why you don't reach those results. You hit those plateaus and you're like, man, I'm doing everything perfect, but I can't get over this plateau. Why is that? And then you get frustrated, right? When you hit a plateau with us, we navigate that so that we can continue to go from here up back to here. Inevitably, you are always going to hit a plateau. It's going to happen. It happens to us all the time. But it's about navigating that so you don't lose that motivation and that momentum, right? When you hit this, you got to change something so you can keep doing this.
Yep. Like it says here, we remove decision making so you don't have to overthink your program and what we're giving you. We replace motivation with structure and standards so you know what you're supposed to be doing week in and week out. We build consistency that fits your life. When I made this transformation down here on the left, I was working a full-time job in corporate America, 40, 50 hours a week, Monday through Friday. So, I had to incorporate the lifts, the workouts, everything that I knew that I had to be doing into my schedule. I would get up earlier, or I would go on my lunch break, or I would stay up later. If there's a will, there's a way.
Yep. If it's important to you, you'll make it happen.
Yep.
This is my least favorite excuse of all time.
I hate this one.
Like I just said, bro, if it's important to you, you're going to make it happen at the end of the day, right? There's so many distractions nowadays with our phones, social media, whatever else everyone's got a lot of shit going on in their lives. We understand that, I'm working with 3 businesses right now, working 6 days a week plus 7 days a week. My day off is not ever a day off. And, that's just a shitty excuse. I work, like I said, 7 days a week. I still get in the gym between 3 and 5 times a week. I still make progress. I still make time for the things that are important for me, right? Nutrition, training, and just living my life. Those are the 3 most important things to me, right? Family, friends, all that sort of shit.
So like we said, most men fail because of lack of structure. So if you're watching this, you're already ahead of most people because you're not looking for just another workout. You're looking for a system that's proven to work.
Yep.
And that's what we do. So the I am too busy excuse does not fly here because we both are busy. All of our clients are busy and they still make results. And, if you tell me you're too busy, I'm going to ask you to show me your phone screen time, and you'll see that there's probably 4 or 5 hours that you're just fucking sitting there on your phone. So none of that shit.
None of that.
We're going to show you how to eliminate guessing and remove uncertainty. That's what keeps you stuck. We're going to show you, we already showed you Kaleb's transformation, but we're going to go a little more in depth into it and how we helped him go from his uncertainty, his, no structure into executing. We're going to show you our 180-day system on how you build strength, structure, and confidence. And we're going to show you the sustainable approach that we use. How we do this, like we said, without extreme diets, without working out 7 days a week, and without burning out and still being able to enjoy your lives, enjoy your weekends, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So this is a little background on me and Johnny here. Skinny high schoolers to Division I coach. I don't know why it says coaches. That's my bad, but Division I coach.
Yeah. So in high school, we were skinny. We grew up playing soccer. We were very active. We were in great shape. But we had very, very little muscle mass. Okay. We got made fun of it all the time. We weren't super lean. We didn't look like athletes. We just looked underdeveloped, and we just weren't comfortable with it.
Just skinny white boys.
Yeah. 2 little skinny white boys. And we weren't weak because we didn't care. We were weak because we didn't know what to do. Right? Nobody knows what to do. So we started lifting. And at first it was random. We just did whatever we saw other people doing. We copied workouts, did whatever felt good that day. Chase pumps, all that sort of stuff, and just kind of guess what was going on. And then, we experienced that plateau, right? And eventually, once we got over that plateau, we continued to make progress. We were hooked, right? Getting those pumps, seeing your physique improve, seeing the strength gain, seeing the energy improve, like everything just compounds and compounds and makes you addicted to the gym. That's what happened to us.
Your first bicep vein or something like that.
Right. All that stuff is important. But again, it wasn't just the physique improvement that really got us hooked. It was how we felt, right? Again, that improved confidence, the energy boost, all that sort of stuff is what really causes that like addiction to the gym, because it does feel good. The endorphins get going, all that sort of stuff. And then all that curiosity, like after doing all that, going through all that, it became an obsession for me, for both of us, but for me in particular. It caused me to pursue a career in exercise science. I wanted to make fitness my career. Right? Because I was so passionate about how it made me feel, how it changed my life, that I wanted to see all the science behind it and how I can continue to help other people. Right? So I went to NAU with Max and I studied exercise science, like I said. This, started me with my personal training journey. I was training, this was like COVID time. So I was training people, kind of doing something like this, to be honest, doing some online coaching, getting my reps in, everything like that. And then once I started seeing progress in my clients, man, that felt 10 times better than seeing progress in myself, because it showed me that I knew what I was doing, and I had a good idea that I can help and guide other people to that same feeling that caused me to get into where I am. Right. From there, my senior year, I had to do an internship. So I decided to do strength and conditioning at Northern Arizona University. That was an amazing experience, and honestly is the reason that I am where I am now. Right. Helping people that are performing at the highest levels in their field to continue to perform well and improve their performance was really something quite special to see. And all the things that I learned from my mentors and other coaches that I worked with at NAU was something that I'll never forget, and something that I apply into my programming, into, how I approach different obstacles as far as training, as far as nutrition, as far as life, right? Because again, it is not just the training, it is not just the nutrition, but mindset. That's going to be your biggest asset to continuing to make that improvement, right? So from there, I just fell in love with strength and conditioning. I thought that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. So naturally, the progression is internship, then a graduate assistant strength and conditioning role. So basically what you do is you go work for the university, you're an assistant strength coach, you have your team assignments, you're working with whatever team they put you with, and they're paying for your master's degree alongside it, which was pretty cool. I'd be lying if I said I enjoyed doing school. I fucking hate it. I've always hated it, but here I am with 2 degrees, and I couldn't be more thankful for it. But at Fairfield, I specifically worked with basketball, and this is where I got enthralled with it, because I got to be a part of every aspect of their training, right? I was with them in the weight room. I warmed them up for practice. I did stretching on off days in between games, traveled with them to hotels, got to pick, the meals that they were eating at the hotels, all that sort of stuff. And it was really, really cool to see how much of an impact it had on the players. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the reason for a winning season or a ring or anything like that. But again, the mentality that you develop from training intensely in the weight room, as well as doing the things right outside of the weight room and seeing that progress, is really what kind of locks in that mindset, that mentality, that discipline. And it's really cool to see. Again, as a strength coach, you have to have a why between everything that you put into a program. So everything that you write down, and we would do this, we would do program defense. We would sit down for hours talking about all the programs we wrote. Oh, why are we doing this? What adaptation are we looking for here? I think you could do this better. This might get that adaptation that you're looking for a little bit better. Those sorts of things. So I worked, with people. My most recent boss at Fairfield, his name's Mike Harris. He's worked with professional baseball players. He's worked with the Bears, the Bills, all sorts. He was at Yale when they made that run in March Madness, 10, 15 years ago. And then, the other guy that I worked with, David Klein, he is one of the best coaches I think I've ever had the pleasure of working around, and he is specifically with women's basketball and women's soccer at that same university at Fairfield. And since he has taken over that role as the strength and conditioning coach for Fairfield women's basketball, they've won 3 back-to-back conference championships, right? So I've worked with some of the best in the industry, and I've learned a lot from them, and that's what I've applied into the training here, right? I understand that not everyone we're working with is an athlete, but I still use that same mindset when I'm writing a program. Why am I putting this on paper? What are they going to get out of it? How is it actually going to make them feel? And what adaptation are they going to get out of it? Right? On the other side, while I was doing that, I was still doing personal training. I worked at a big box gym, working with general population, and that would range from anyone from like, a skinny 18-year-old kid where I was trying to get a little bit bigger to, 80-plus-year-old clients who just want to be able to walk and get around comfortably and gain a little bit of strength and confidence and all that sort of stuff. So I've seen all ends of the spectrum, whether it's a beginner looking to get bigger and stronger in the gym, someone who's overweight and obese trying to get back into a healthy lifestyle and make those real improvements in their physique and how they feel and their health, all the way to, athletes performing at the highest level. Like I've coached athletes that are now playing professional basketball overseas or professional field hockey, all this sort of stuff. And they still come back to me. They hit me up. Hey, can you help me, with some programming stuff? And of course I'm going to help them out, but, at the end of the day, having that all-encompassing experience has really helped me hone in on some of the things that work really well, the things that don't work, and how to navigate all 3 of the, getting on the things that work well. And again, most people don't fail because of lack of effort, right? Like Max said at the beginning, we go train hard. We've always trained hard, but the results just weren't there because we weren't doing the right things at the right time, and we didn't have a reason for any of it, right? This lack of structure is ultimately what led us to that plateau and the up and down as far as progress. Again, it's never going to be up linear. It's never linear, but it'll be linear, plateau, just like this, instead of up and down, up and down. We don't want that. We want stair steps, right? Going up in the right direction.
So the old way versus the new way. The old way of training, the way that you used to train, the way that we used to train, versus the new way, the way that you're going to train, the way that we train. Like we've been saying, no real plan, doing just random workouts, constantly changing the lifts that you're doing or the workouts that you're doing, overthinking or winging your nutrition, just trying to get a nutrition plan off of the internet or some guy on Instagram that's going to send you a PDF that was written by AI. Just a bunch of slop, right? Or solely relying on motivation. You're going to start strong, you're going to fall off, and it's going to repeat the cycle that we were talking about earlier. And most people get in their head and they start blaming themselves. They're like, man, I can never get jacked. I can never feel confident because, like Johnny was saying, I plateau and I don't know where to go. I get some results and then it just stops. That's why you need structure. So the new way, like we said, like we've been saying, this is our main thing, is structure. We make you a plan every week. Progress is measurable. Confidence is going to build because you're going to start seeing the results. You're going to start just becoming more confident with yourself. And the standards that we hold you to are going to replace your motivation because you don't want to let us down. You don't want to let yourself down, more importantly.
Yeah,
right?
You're paying a lot of money. We understand that. We want you to get the results. And it's not in spite of the money, but it is a big commitment. You know what I mean? It's not like you can't be half in and half out. You have to be fully bought into what we're doing here.
Yep. So, ATNIP Performance method. This is what we have coined our method. This is what we call our method. We base it off of 4 pillars, right? Training, nutrition, accountability, and standards. So, stage 1, pillar 1, clarity and structure. This is kind of where we start eliminating all of the problems that busy men like yourself are facing. You don't know what to do. Decision fatigue is what we call it, where you just kind of burn out from lack of structure, lack of results, that sort of stuff.
It's also paralysis by analysis, right? Thinking too hard about something, it stresses you out so much that you end up doing nothing instead of even just something.
Yep. Burning your mental energy. What split do I do? What do I eat? Should I be bulking? Should I be cutting? And then you kind of just fall off. So our solution is that we remove all of these issues for you. We establish a specific goal. So, gain a certain amount of weight, lose a certain amount of weight, do a marathon, a triathlon, whatever your goals are, we we work with you, right? And we give you a path so that you can accomplish and reach your goals. So training frequency, 3 to 5 days a week. We won't have you in the gym more than that. And it's really based off of your experience and your goals. So are you, been working out? Have you been working out for years? Are you working out for a few weeks? Are you brand new to the gym, never started, that sort of stuff? We work with you. We give you a plan and we make you execute.
Yep. And it's consistent execution, not max effort, right?
Yep.
That continued execution compounds over time.
So training that produces predictable progress. See this picture here on the right? That was Johnny.
Shoot, a couple of days ago. On the left, that was beginning of college, right? I think that was freshman year. I think I was like 150 pounds there, and now I'm about 180 on the picture on the right, 175 to 180. And again, most people, it's random. They just go in there and they're guessing. Strength training is a skill, right? Every exercise, every movement is a skill. You have to get good at it in order to load it, in order to get stronger, in order to get bigger. You have to know how to do things right. That's the biggest thing that I see, especially I work at a gym still. So I'll, see people be doing shit wrong and getting all these injuries. And again, injuries stunt your progress too. You're not going to be able to continue progressing if you're injured all the time, right? So that's the other thing about our programming, our system, is that it starts at, there's a measurable progression. Like we can tell you where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing, how long it's going to take to get there roughly, right? Depending on the goal. And we measure everything. We use an app called Train Heroic, tracks everything for you, right? So when you're going through your workouts, you record all the weights you're using, all the reps you're getting for every exercise that we have. You can leave notes. Data is extremely important for us because it tells us if what we're doing is working or it's not, right? Again, like I said, that's how I would always measure everything in the weight room. If my athletes are consistently getting stronger or they're consistently getting faster or whatever the goal is of that phase, you have to measure it. Otherwise, how you can be able to tell if you're making progress if you aren't measuring anything? That's the only way that you're going to be able to do that.
Yeah. And my favorite part about Train Heroic is that it tells us when you've logged a workout, we can see the workouts that you're doing and we can see when you're not doing the workouts. So just remember that. We're watching. Stage 3, nutrition without overthinking. So there's 2 extremes to nutrition and dieting. One is that it's far too complicated and people just can't follow it because it takes too much time to meal prep and track every macro. A lot of people obsess over tracking macros, making sure you're getting to the exact amount, the amount of protein they're supposed to have, carbs, calories, whatever it is. And it's really unsustainable. And for me, we used to do that and it kind of gave us eating disorders and we don't want to do that for you guys. So, yeah. And then there's also, the other side of that spectrum is that it's too loose. You're fucking just winging it. You're eating out constantly. You're eating a bunch of processed slop. You're just fucking snacking all the time and you're wondering why nothing changes. So our point is to not make you a robot, right? We want you to have a repeatable nutrition plan that even when your life gets busy, you can stick to it and you know what to do because that's when your results become predictable.
Yeah. And the way that we do this, we don't do there may be some times where we'll ask you to track your macros for like a week or something just to see kind of where you're at. But we do more of a menu style option. So if you simply just follow what we have in a document for you, it's that simple, right? There's many options. Again, we're not restricting you to eat this, this, and this. I'm going to give you options, right? So we're going to have, 3 or 4 different options for each meal. We have 3 or 4 different options for the snacks. Like it's not, you have options and we give you the options because then it eliminates the guesswork. We're not restricting you by any means. You can decide what you want to do. But this also kind of helps educate you on what to eat, right? Because I feel like most people don't understand that. They really don't. You have to be consuming enough protein. Everybody needs to be consuming enough protein, especially if you're trying to gain muscle, which everyone that's in this program probably is. Whether you're fat, skinny, normal, whatever, most people need to and want to gain muscle, right? So you need to focus on protein. You need to not eat like a little child, okay? No more dino nuggets, no more fried shit, no more candy. Here and there is okay, like maybe once a month or so. But if you're consistently doing it, nutrition is arguably more important than training, right?
Yeah. Our goal is that you should feel comfortable and be able to go out and have a nice dinner with some friends, have a couple beers, kind of have a cheat day, if that's what you want to call it, and not have to feel bad and feel like you're going to lose all your progress because of one night. That's not our goal. That's not what we do. Like we said, we understand real life. We've experienced it. We've lived it, and we're passing this knowledge on to you.
Yeah. And it's not about perfection. It's about doing, consistency. It's about trying to be better each time, right? Yep. That continued improvement.
Yep. So stage 4, accountability and adjustments, like we just talked about. The problem most men face is that they fail because nobody's watching. There's no feedback, no course correction. If you fall off, you get down on yourself and the whole process restarts like a cycle. So what we do is we hold you accountable. We do weekly check-ins every week, same day, same time, unless, you're busy and we're busy. We always reschedule, but we always try and do our one-on-ones every single week. We discuss how the week went, how your workouts felt, how your diet was, what felt good, what didn't feel good, what got in the way, that sort of stuff. And then we make adjustments.
Yeah. And, again, we also are holding you to a standard, even though we're not babysitting you. Like, I'm not going to be texting you if I see that you missed a workout. Maybe once or twice I will be like, hey, what's up? Why didn't you do your workout? I'll probably do that. But again, you guys are adults. You need to be able to just do it yourself, right? If it's important, you're going to make it happen. But we do hold you to a standard. So, on those check-in calls, that's when I'll say, hey, why are you missing your workouts? Or why are your lifts plateauing? What are we feeling? We have that open line of communication. And again, I don't know everything. I'm not saying just because I'm an expert, you could say, in the field, doesn't mean I know everything, right? Especially in fitness and the human body, there are so many different variables and each individual is different. So it's about finding what works for you, not what works for most people, because we're not everyone's most people. We're just people. We're all individuals.
Everybody's different.
Yep.
So this is the last part of our program, is the identity and the results, right? So over here on the left, execute plan, right? Follow our structured system consistently. It's a mouthful. You're going to start seeing progress. Your results create momentum because you get addicted to it. You start seeing, maybe abs. You start seeing some arm veins. You start seeing some progress. Maybe your girl starts noticing oh, biceps are looking good. That sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. It feels good. And then in turn, it builds confidence. Momentum builds belief. You start to believe that, okay, I can actually do this. These guys know what the fuck they're talking about. Surprise, surprise. And you become more confident. It increases discipline because you want to show up. You're like, okay, well, my girl has started to notice my bicep veins, my abs, she's starting to get turned on by it, that sort of stuff. You're going to want to stick to it because if you fucking lose that shit, she's probably going to dump you, right? So then discipline leads to automatic execution. That's where me and Johnny are at nowadays. This is just part of our lives. It's part of our identity. We know that this is what we have to do because we're just addicted to it. We love the way we feel. We love the way we look. And that's what happens. That's what our program does. So down here at the bottom, read that. The physique is not the real transformation. Like I said, the transformation is your identity. You're going to be somebody who relates themselves with going to the gym 3 to 5 days a week, relates themselves with eating healthy. You're going to take pride in the fact that you take care of your body, you have confidence, and it just feels good.
Yeah. So basically what this system does, what it teaches you, is the habits of people who have the things that you want, right? So if your goal is to have a 6-pack of abs or to lift a certain amount of weight, look a certain way, right? All you need to do is look at the lifestyles that people who are, the people that are at where you want to be, look at what they do and do that, right? If you want to look like us, perfect. Okay. This is what we do. Everything that we preach, we practice, right? We're not going to tell you guys to do anything that we ourselves don't do. That's the beauty of this system, is that, we, like Max said, we have lives. We still do what we want to do, but we continue to make progress over time because we do the right things consistently. That's our identity. We are guys with good physiques. We are guys with high standards. We are guys, 6-packs, all that shit that you want. it's an identity. It's not anything else. You have to, first of all, change your mindset to, oh, I am someone with abs. What if I was someone with abs, what would that person do? Would they, get up and, do some push-ups and sit-ups in the morning and go for a run? Or B, hit snooze on that alarm clock and then roll out of bed and get barely to work on time after stopping at McDonald's for your fucking breakfast, right? That's not how it works.
Yep.
Adapt a new identity, adapt a new lifestyle. The change will come.
Yep. And this is exactly what happened with Kaleb. We gave him a clear path. He started executing. He started seeing results. And now he's
surprised.
You saw the way he looks. He's fucking jacked.
Surprise. It fucking works. Imagine that.
Yep. So this is what we call the compounding feedback loop. It's kind of what we just talked about, right? Most men are not going to fail. You're not going to fail because of lack of effort. You're going to fail because you lack structure. If you put in the effort, you're going to get results on this program. Plain and simple. Kaleb is not our only, example of somebody that's made good progress, but he's by far one of our best. So that's kind of why we, put him on a pedestal. But, he followed what we tell him to do, and he got into this compounding feedback loop that you're seeing right here. Momentum, confidence, discipline, automatic execution, results. That's all it comes down to.
Yep. And again, I've seen it hundreds of times. I've worked with probably at this point in my life, I've probably worked with thousands of people, right? Athletes, general population, whatever it may be. I've worked with a lot of different people. And the one thing that the people have in common, the people that are making progress versus the people that are staying the same, is their consistency, their mindset towards training, and their willingness to do what is necessary, right? No excuses. Executing what we're asking you to execute and continuing to do it consistently. Those three things are going to be your magic formula. So you can do it.
I call it being a doer. You have to be a doer, not a don'ter.
Yep.
All right?
Yep. Doers get what they want in life. Don'ters, fucking losers.
Hate themselves, probably.
Hate themselves.
So, backtrack, who we work with. This is probably you if you're watching this video. You're a busy man with real responsibilities. You've trained before, or you already do train, or, your results just don't affect your effort. You start strong and you fall off. You get in that feedback loop. And you're just tired of guessing what to do. You're tired of writing your own programs. You're tired of doing the same shit every week. And you want strength, structure, and confidence in 180 days or less.
Yep. And we're not saying by any means that you can't do it by yourself, but it's going to be way slower. It's going to take you, like us, it took us 8 years to figure out what to do. We've been training consistently for 8 years, and we can now do what we did in 8 years over the course of 6 to 12 months with people. We've seen it happen before. I'm going to shout out my guy Trav here. Been working with him for 6 months now or so. And he has completely recompositioned his body. He was pretty overweight when we started working together. Good amount of muscle. Like he's a strong, he's a strong, big Native American dude, but his diet wasn't there. His training wasn't there. And now he looks like a complete fucking beast. Like he had a big old beer belly before, but essentially trust us, right? If you want the pictures, we can give you the receipts.
We just tried showing you the picture, but the lighting's fucked. So sorry. So, all right. Our system, ATNIP Performance, 180-day program. It's not a workout plan, not a diet template. It's a system, right? Structured training, flexible nutrition, weekly check-ins, direct access to Johnny and I. You're going to have our phone numbers. You're going to be in a group chat with us. You can text us. You can call us. You can FaceTime us. I do this full time, so I'm pretty much always open. Johnny's at work sometimes, but soon enough he'll be doing it full time too. And progress tracking. That's how we get your before and after pictures, your performance metrics, so how much you're lifting, your maxes, that sort of stuff. And so, yeah.
And why is it 180 days, right? I know there's been a lot of 90-day programs or blah, blah, blah.
Get shredded in 2 weeks. Get abs in 2 weeks. Lose belly fat in 90 days. Yeah.
And, the truth is, it doesn't happen overnight, right? It takes a lot of compounded efforts to continue to make progress and steps in the direction that you're looking for, right? Delayed gratification is something that I think needs to be focused on a little bit more in today's society, because with social media and getting everything on Amazon, you can have it by the next day. Sometimes, good things in life take time. You have to just continue to show up and trust the process, which is such a stupid fucking statement, but it's true. Trust the process. Trust what we're telling you to do. Trust that it's going to work out. And if it doesn't work out, maybe you need to do a little bit of reflecting, right? Because I could go down the list of 10 people right now that I've helped since starting this make complete 180s in their lifestyle and their physique. And again, it takes 180 days. The first 30 days is you build that momentum. You're excited. It's something new. 90 days, if you continue to do that, that's when habits are developed, right? And then if you do that for longer, 180 days, 6 months, that builds identity, right? Because then by that point, you've developed all this knowledge, you've developed what works, you understand that you have to continue with that effort. Short timelines produce short results, right? We're not here to give you a quick fix that you're going to lose later. We're here to build a system that you keep, right? And the biggest thing behind that is metabolism, right? We're going to improve your metabolism by gaining muscle, right? If you're fat and you want to lose weight, that's such a common misconception that you just need to do diet and cardio, because you're not changing your metabolism. If you just focus on diet and cardio and then, hey, I hit my goal weight, and then you stop doing that shit, you're going to gain it all back and more. You have to actually change your metabolism by gaining muscle. That's the only way to do it. Okay. Muscle uses much more energy than fat. Fat holds on to energy. Muscles use energy. Okay.
Yep. So, kind of here at the end now. So, if you're ready to stop guessing in your workouts, you're ready to start seeing real progress, similar to Kaleb, similar to our guy Trav, which maybe I'll throw some pictures in when I edit this video, and just get access to the same system, the exact same program, the exact same coaches that these guys used. There's going to be a link in this video description to our Calendly. You can set up a meeting with us, 30-minute phone call. We'll answer any questions that you have. I hope you've been taking notes. I hope you've been learning something. And, we're going to get you set up. We're going to talk about your goals, make sure that you're a good fit for our program and that you are, somebody who's ready to be a doer. And then after that, if it's a good fit, we'll onboard you. We'll walk you through, what the next couple of months are going to look like, everything that you need to do on your end, and, get the ball rolling from there. And I don't want you to think that, there's any pressure here. We're not trying to fucking sell you on some shit that you don't need. Our goal is just to make sure that you're in the right place. And, we want to help people. That's our dream. That's why we built this fucking business, is because we want to help guys like you, guys that used to be like us, become better men. So, if it's not a good fit, we can still point you in the right direction.
Okay. So the worst case scenario is that it's not a good fit. You still walk away with clarity, right? You understand how you should be training, what you should be training. You know what you should be eating. You can recognize why consistency has been hard. Best case scenario is you stop guessing, you stop starting over, you rebuild that strength permanently, you establish real consistency, and you develop lasting confidence, right? And again, it's not through motivation, but through structure. It's the only way.
That Johnny learned as a coach. This is him coaching, looking handsome, looking professional. We're not lying to you guys. He's a dog. We're both dogs. You're probably a dog if you're watching this. So, link in the description below for our Calendly. And yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to throw this video at the end so you can get a better idea of us, because the lighting in that video is kind of shit. Sorry about it. I got a shitty computer because I just have a shitty computer. All right. But if you found that video helpful, if you liked what we were talking about and you want to learn how to build structure, discipline, consistency, and get the results that you've been craving, there's a link in the description for our Calendly. Set up a meeting with us. We'll do a phone call. We'll go over everything. We'll make sure you're a good fit, and we'll get the ball rolling, and we'll change your fucking life. Anything?
Fill out the fucking link, boy. I know you want it. I know you want to look like this. Tight. Come on.
All right. See you guys. We'll talk to you soon.